Good evening. Welcome to Northbeat in the Beaufort Delta. Right now, I'm in our Inuvik studio. We've been taking the show on the road to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Northbeat this year. Now, we'll stay in Inuvik all of this week. Then we plan to head to Fort McPherson and Sigachik, as long as the Dempster and the weather cooperate. I'm so excited to be in the region, and I'm so excited to share your community stories. Now, though, let's get to the news. Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts in Inuvik, Northwest Territories. We begin.
The future is everything. Stories of incredible ingenuity, dedication, and some extraordinary teamwork. This is parenthood.
We apologize, we're having some technical difficulties there. Our technicians are working to get our feedback with Megan, but until then, I'm Robert Holden and I will be your host. We begin tonight in Nunavut, where RCMP are investigating a fatal fire at a residential building in Whale Cove. Police say the fire happened close to 3 a.m. on Monday morning. They say the fire burned down a fourplex in the 200 block. RCMP say a 38-year-old man was removed from the building and taken to the local health center, where he was pronounced dead. Police say the fire is suspicious. They want anyone with information to contact the Whale Cove Detachment or Crime Stoppers. A 28-year-old man is facing charges in connection with a robbery and assault at the Cambridge Bay Game Hall. Nunavut RCMPs say the robbery happened on Saturday night after 9 p.m. Police say one person received non-life-threatening injuries and was treated at the local health center. The suspect is facing charges of assault, robbery, and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. He's also charged with breaching his probation. The suspect was released from custody on Monday, and he's set to return to court in December. Some Nunavummiut are not impressed with their stay at a medical boarding home in Iqaluit. The Sileakvik boarding home is one of two in the capital city. It's a newer space, but some say it's still facing the same problems as the old space. TJ Deer reports.
Mary Otoki is back home in Kingite, but she says her time at the Sileakvik Medical Boarding Home in Iqaluit was not good. Her major concern with the home is a broken elevator, which can affect elders.
When elders have to climb up the stairs, when the elevator's broken, they really need help with it.
And she says it affects others too.
You have to walk all the way up with your luggage, like you got to go to the fourth floor, and it's so tiring.
Noah Papatsi has been inside the home to see what's happening. He's a disability advocate who is blind. He says another big issue is miscommunication between the staff and clients, which can cause some confusion.
We need to understand and have equal service within the building, making sure there's people working within there who understands our language and making sure we have proper directions.
Papatsi's concerns were illustrated in this letter issued to MLAs, the government, and Iqaluit. Lisa Spencer is the communications manager for the Nunavummi Disabilities Makinasuaktit Society. She says what's happening is a complex issue, and it's not about blaming or shaming anyone, but asking important questions.
Is this issue known to the people who should know? And, how can we collaborate as an organization with government decision makers as well as community members? How can we all work together to increase accessibility and inclusion?
The Department of Health says it is aware of the issues at the home. Greg Babstock is an assistant deputy minister with the department. He says they're working with the Nova group of companies who run both Sileakvik and the Tamativik facilities to fix the issues.
If something does come up, such as the elevator, we're in direct contact with the boarding home on a daily basis, seeking updates.
Nova declined an interview request, saying it's against company policy to do media interviews. TJ Deer, CBC News, Iqaluit.
In the Northwest Territories, Jackson Lafferty has been re-elected as the Ticho Grand Chief. He was sworn in on Wednesday in Betchicon. Devin Tredinnick has more.
In a packed room in Betchico's Cultural Center, Jackson Lafferty took an oath. Lafferty received 962 votes in Monday's election for Ticho Grand Chief, beating former Betchico Chief Clifford Daniels. It's his second time serving as Grand Chief, and top of his mind, addictions.
First priority is addiction. We're a huge challenge on our hand. All 4 communities, including Yonlat as well, Chinchon citizens living. And now we have to tackle it, but we have to tackle it together as a nation. We need to have a nation building exercise. We have to come together.
Lafferty proposed having a treatment center and a locally run police force as some solutions. For one voter, addictions in her community is also a major concern.
I truly believe that if we need to find a way, it's universal. I know that it's all over the world, but how can we help our own people?
Jamaica also says her community needs to be united. It's something Lafferty noted in his speech and strikes a chord for another one of his voters.
Let's get back together as one nation, because our grandkids and our kids are looking at us. What if our kids or grandkids started going against other kids? That's not nice. We're all family. We're all one nation.
According to the Ticho government, 60% of eligible voters participated in the election. Devin Tredinnick, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Elections Yukon is getting ahead on special ballots because of the Canada Post strike. Yukoners who need a special ballot for the upcoming territorial election can apply for one now. Elections Yukon will send special ballots to people outside of the territory by courier. Special ballots for those in the territory will be sent normally. It's one of many steps the office is taking as the Canada Post strike continues.
We also are allowing anyone who has a special ballot to drop it off at any returning office or what we call our satellite offices or additional assistant returning offices that are in the communities outside of in the communities outside of Whitehorse.
Elections Yukon won't be able to send voter information cards due to this strike. Harvey says residents will have to verify their registration online. Voters can also go to their local returning office for any other questions. The territorial election must be called by the end of the week and must take place by November 3rd. High school students in one Northwest Territories community used to have to relocate in order to graduate. But starting this year, students in Nahanni, Butte can complete their diploma at home. Sarah St. Pierre brings us the story.
It took the community of Nahanni Butte 2 years of writing letters of support and meeting with their Divisional Education Council, but they have done it. As of this year, grades 11 and 12 are offered in the community. It means high schoolers will no longer have to leave home to complete their education.
The main reason for that, community leaders and elders, right? Chief and council in particular, all of them wanted to have grade 11 and 12 in the community. That way children can spend, their, higher grades 11 and 12 in the community itself. And that was a long-standing demand.
Up until this year, Charles Yowen School in Nahanni Butte only went up to grade 10. High schoolers had to take grades 11 and 12 at the regional high school in Fort Simpson, almost 3 hours away from home. Community members say this is positive change.
So we have more graduates because they're here in their own community. Like when you go to Fort Simpson School and that, sometimes you get homesick and you don't have all the support there. Here in your community, you have more support, your family there.
It's also good news on the personal level for Marlene Matu. She attended high school in Fort Simpson, and so did her oldest son. But this year, her youngest is the first grade 11 student enrolled at home. She says he's happy he gets to stay.
Oh, I'm so glad that we have grade 11 and 12 here in Nahanni because I've gone there for high school and it's like you miss home. And I had another son that attended high school in Fort Simpson and you worry about them a lot. It was stressful.
From now on, there's a dedicated space for older students at the school in Nahanni Butte, a room where they can complete an online learning program without uprooting themselves from their community. Sarah Saint-Pierre, CBC News, Yellowknife.
The Yukon Association of Non-Status Indians, also known as YANSI, released a historical book this week. It's called It's Time to Tell Our Story, a history of the Yukon Association of Non-Status Indians. It goes into the history of the organization and how status versus non-status designation under the Indian Act affected the lives of many Indigenous people. The book took 3 years to complete, and only 500 copies have been printed. On Monday, over 150 people came together to launch it.
And it's a history that is rich and full, and it gives students and other people a means of knowing what happened back then and how it all came together.
If you were a woman and you married a non-Indigenous partner, then you lost. It's so-called the title or status, it's called. You lost that under the Indian Act, and you became a non-status person. The title of the book says it all. It's time to tell our story. It's long past time.
And we actually interviewed over 50 elders for this book.
It's an educational tool. Hopefully it shines a bright light so that people, or their hearts will open and they will actually read and feel our stories in the pages. Yeah, it's great pride, and it is a labor of love. Yes.
The future is everything. Stories of incredible ingenuity, dedication, and some extraordinary teamwork. This is parenthood.
Take a voyage with me to the vast, remote, most extreme place on Earth.
For many, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Where the effects of climate change are intensifying.
The poles are a very rapidly changing place.
And geopolitical cracks threaten peace and stability.
Do you think there's a security concern?
I definitely do.
Experience the historic all-Canadian mission. CBC in Antarctica. Watch free on CBC Gem.
Want to get the most out of CBC News? Use the app or cbcnews.ca for live breaking news on the stories that matter to you. Whether it's local, national, or around the world, turn to CBC News.
It makes sense that they get a larger share, or does it?
Welcome to the Greenbelt.
All of this, just single detached homes.
Yes.
What do we know? I think we can explain.
About that with Andrew Chang.
Hello, I'm Paul Andrew. Here's George Tuckaroo with the news.
Thanks, Paul. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Carol Morin.
That's Northbeat for tonight. I'm Nadira Bag. Good night.
Good evening. I'm Randy Henderson. We start in the Northwest Territories.
Good evening. I'm Kate Kyle.
I'm Hillary Bird.
Shannon Scott.
Juanita Taylor. And this is Northbeat.
Welcome back. As you saw earlier, we started today's show with Megan Roberts in Inuvik, Northwest Territories. We're still having some technical difficulties, and we're working to get our feedback with Megan. But until then, I'm Robert Holden, and I will be your host. Tuesday marked the annual National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. It's a day to remember the continued harms done by residential schools. And it's also a day to celebrate resilience and progress. It's that spirit that flowed through the TRC events in Inuvik, Northwest Territories this week, particularly at the Kids Carnival. Megan Roberts had the chance to speak to Yvonne Nakamayak about the importance of centering children's joy on TRC Day.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Nakamayak. I'm a member of the Inuvik's Mental Health Working Group.
And Yvonne, tell me what is kind of going on around us at this point.
Well, it's after 2, and we've been running our Kiddies Carnival here. It's a free carnival for all the children. It is a way to recognize that today we want to give back to our children. All of our families, our grandparents and our mums and dads were here before listening to the speeches, but we know we want to focus on them. And we gave them a space to fully immerse themselves in joy, and that's exactly what they're doing. And they're there for another little while, and they know there's cupcakes coming next. So they're just playing until they get their cupcakes.
And then they'll go home and have that sugar crash and everyone can have a moment. You know, when I walked in, we were talking about this earlier, but it really struck me how joyful it is in here, especially given that this day means a lot to a lot of people. But creating this space for children seemed like such a beautiful way to mark this day.
Yes, it is. We actually do have another elder space further back where it's more quiet, where there's homemade food, soup and bannock, and tea, all for them to sit around and talk with each other. And then when they want to come and see their great-grandchildren, they come and sit in here and they observe them playing. And I'm sure there's lots of memories going through their mind about, you know, what this whole month of September has meant for them. And so we want to make sure that we create really strong memories of joy for our kids that are growing up here in Inuvik right now.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about some of the other events that happened today. I understand there was a march as well. You mentioned the speeches. Just run through the day for me.
Sure. They started off at Ingama Hall. It's a very traditional place of the heart of Inuvik. And they did a big walk, and it was so well attended. And even though it was snowing and blowing, it was just an incredible scene. We were led by the RCMP and the local bylaw. And then we came here and we had the elected officials join in and share some words with the crowd. The kids were really observant at that time, and there was everybody here from the walk. This place was even more packed than it is now, and they really enjoyed that. The elders got to come and have tea and sit around and visit with each other for a bit. And then, yes, now we do this. And it was really joyful. We had the Canadian Forces come and cook for us, which was a big support to us because we needed somebody to stand outside in the barbecue for 2 hours, and who had better to do that on a snowy day? You know, it's a little bit wintry here in Inuvik, and it didn't hold anything back. It was just been great.
I wonder as well, you'd mentioned creating some beautiful memories of this day, of this month for the elders. I wonder if you can expand on that, because the day is rooted in difficulty and hard memories. So tell me about why it's important to create joyful ones.
I think a lot of times when elders are sitting and they're reflecting, they see themselves in small children. They'll remember what they were, their memories. We actually had an elder stand up just out of the blue, and he said, I remember being 12, and I remember leaving for school, and I really missed my parents. And I really missed being around home and my brothers and sisters and being able to tease and play with them. None of that was allowed. They were allowed to be around each other, but they weren't even able to speak with each other. So, you know, I think having a place like this where they're seeing that it's really intentional, that we're allowing them to play and be joyful and have fun, and almost anything goes, you know, and they're replacing that pain with a little bit of happiness. And I think it helps them heal in a way when they see that Inuvik is continuously trying to do things to make our families stronger and better every year. And moving forward, we're going to continue to do that. This mental health working group here in Inuvik is made of a lot of different groups around town. Some government organizations, our Inuit organizations, our Nitat Kitchen Council, they all come together, they all help out, and we put on a good show for our children and our families.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, Yvonne?
I just want to say thank you to nothing gets done without a little bit of money to help some sponsors. And if you see, we also have some great chefs. There's some beautiful cupcakes. You can take a snapshot of that afterwards. We're going to do draws all up at the front that people come back for the draws. They even get to win toilet paper from our honey bucket game. And, you know, it's just a lot of people coming together. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Our mental health working group team, none of them else wanted to talk. And they all work so hard. They're still out there doing everything right now. And so I want to shout out to them too.
I do have to ask what the honey bucket game is.
Oh, you should come and join it. Well, there's a honey bucket over there. It kind of looks like a honey bucket, pretty rough one. And you got to throw your toilet paper in there. And if your toilet paper gets into the honey bucket, you get entered for a draw. And I don't know if you have ever gone to see what a pack of toilet paper costs in the store. It's quite a bit. It's probably like $60. So your name gets drawn to take the toilet paper home.
Such a northern prize, eh?
And you know what? The kids love it. They just think they're practicing their 3-throw. Yeah.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah, take care. Must see.
And we are back in Inuvik. Thank you so much to Yvonne for that conversation. And thank you all so much for your patience as we got back up in our Inuvik studio. And finally, a big thank you to Rob for ushering you through the show. In the Yukon, there are fewer than 12 fluent Northern Shoshone speakers left. Many of them are elders. Now, the First Nation of Nacho-Nayakdun has partnered with Carleton University to preserve their knowledge with holograms. Katrin Pilkington has that story.
Elders and holograms are two words that may not intuitively go together, but here in the community of Mayo, the First Nation of Nacho-Nayakdun is turning to technology to keep their language and traditions alive. That's something that's long been a priority for the speakers that remain.
You got to use your language to identify yourself. Where are you from? What kind of language is this? You know, people will ask you. You got to keep your language at them.
Peter is one of a number of elders who's been recorded for the hologram device, so his likeness can continue to teach children their language and culture long after he's gone. The community came together to celebrate the new technology as part of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
I love watching their faces. You know, like today was the first day that my mom's seen what I've been working on, and like I could just tell, like, she's proud, she's beaming, and that's really, you know, that feels like good work. When I'm watching elders, you know, oh, I'm on TV. They're really proud of themselves.
The project is still in development, but the First Nation, along with researchers from Carleton University, hope these tools will preserve the wisdom of elders for generations to come. Katrin Pilkington, CBC News, Mayo.
The National Day for Truth and Reconciliation is an important way to teach young Canadians about the residential school system. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson takes us to a ceremony in Toronto on Tuesday and explains why education helps strengthen ties to Indigenous cultures.
As you can see by the sea of orange t-shirts at school assemblies across the country, education is playing a key part on the path to reconciliation. One special event we attended today brought children from 7 different schools across Toronto to a book reading with one of Canada's eminent children's authors. Award-winning writer David A. Robertson is Cree, and he, in part, mines his own family's history for his books, like When We Were Alone.
Today, I helped my cookum in her flower garden. She always wears colorful clothes. It's like she dresses in rainbows.
We got a chance to speak to David A. Robertson about why he thinks that fiction can play such an important part in telling children the stories both of residential schools and horrors of them, as well as of the beauty and resilience of Indigenous cultures.
There was definitely a hesitation when I first started writing about residential schools, about writing for young children. But we realized as time has gone forward that it's important to start young and to build a foundation and then to continue to learn as a kid gets older and older, so that by the time they graduate, they're ready to do the work and they're ready to take action.
And it's a message that resonates strongly with his diverse group of young readers.
In those residential schools, they didn't respect what they were proud of, their culture, like the braids that made them strong, that they cut them off, and that made them sad because that was a part of them. And after all that experience, they went back to cherish what they were proud of, and that they could be what they wanted to be and come back to who they really were. And that makes me want to be always proud of my culture.
These stories leave powerful memories with students as they grow up and shape a more hopeful Canada in the future. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Imperial Oil is cutting its workforce by 20% as part of a restructuring plan. This will affect about 1,000 jobs by the end of 2027. Imperial expects the move to generate $150 million in annual savings. In a statement to CBC News, a company's spokesperson says most of the job cuts will be in Calgary, and most of the remaining jobs will shift to a refinery in Edmonton. Federal Energy Minister Tim Hodgson has described the move as disappointing. He says the federal government is, quote, laser focused on building major energy projects. Imperial Oil operates major oil sands projects in northern Alberta, as well as refining operations in that province and Ontario. The company also sells refined petroleum product under its Esso branded network of gas stations. Northern living comes with knowing some important and unique skills. Operating a chainsaw, for example, is essential to those who rely on wood for heat. The CBC's Nancy Thompson tracked down a chainsaw expert to see if she has the right stuff.
Most people have chainsaws in the Yukon that need to cut firewood.
They come in
right?
handy. Yeah.
Yeah, or cut the odd tree out of the way.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Husqvarnas here. I have some stills as well. There's one down on the ground there. There's a big one over there for peeling logs.
I'm here with Deb Wild, who is a faller, and that's an actual title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why don't you explain to us what it is and what you do?
A faller is a person who falls trees with a chainsaw or an axe. In the olden days, they used an axe to do the wedge, and then they would do a backup with the big saw together. Usually, if a saw won't start in the fall, it's because the carburetor's been gummed up with bad gas, and someone had maybe started the saw early or something with the bad gas. So really, only a few things can go wrong for the saw not to work. Your filter could be really dirty. Your carburetor could have bad gas in it. So I'm going to show you how to sharpen a saw.
All right.
Okay. You can use a guard, but I like using just the file as long as I have gloves on. Okay. You can feel it, you can see it, and you can hear it. Right now, there's a bit of resistance. Oops. And now it's sharper. And it's also totally in line with that line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see it sharper too,
yeah,
right?
you can see it, you can feel it, and you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
See? You can do that. You try it.
Okay.
You can
so
do
I'm
it.
just...
My chain's a bit loose. I need to tighten it. There you go.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice, see? See, it's not so scary, is it? Let's go, Padawan.
Yeah, let's go cut a rug.
Let's
shall
go
we?
cut a rug, yeah.
I mean, I've got the little baby one here, so I feel better about that.
We'll do good.
Yeah,
we'll
I
do
feel
good.
that's good. And your dog, she could be the...
Sure seems like Nancy has the right stuff. I think she always does, really. That is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. We leave you with a look at Inuvik, where we're broadcasting all week as the seasons change. Have a good night.